Just a quick overview of what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you a very brief search background on sort of the history of the search and why it was what it is and why it is how it is now. Then we'll go into a demo of comparing the new and the old search. I will talk to you about a couple of specifically new features that were not part of the old search but are now part of the new search. I will then show you how to activate the new search, and then we'll have a question and answer period where we can go over anything that I might have missed or that you have questions about. When the most recent version of RepLink on the desktop appeared, our screen resolutions on our monitors, they look kind of like this, kind of squarish. They were at max, we had resolutions of 1024 by 768, but we also had to deal with users that still had 800 by 600 monitors, and I'm sure even if you don't know exactly what those numbers mean, it's basically square monitors and you remember them. And we had to fit everything in our search within that range and give you as much information as possible in that limited real estate area. And that is kind of where we built the desktop search. And then even when we went to the web, we were still facing smaller monitors with limited space, and we had to support the 1024 by 768 space and make sure users, even at that level, would be able to satisfactorily perform search. And so our search has stayed quite the same for a while, and over time we have gotten an increase in screen real estate and size of monitors. Our laptops are wide 16 by 9 monitors now. Even our desktop monitors that we buy, no one's buying any monitors smaller than 21 inches, and they have high resolutions of at least 1300 by something wide. So it's certainly past time for us to redo the search to accommodate all this new screen real estate and monitor size. And so now we have made the tremendous effort and investment in getting the search redone. It's taken us much longer than we anticipated, but we do like the results that we've come across and are proud to show you those today and how to activate that search and start using it in your RepLink. So for our demo, this is what you're used to now. This is our current search. You would come in here and you would type in a keyword of some sort. You could type in a price range if you wanted to. You could pick a specific brand if you wanted to, and then you would click search. When you click search, the results would come back with products, and the results would show up up top here. And you would have a row for each product. If you wanted to see the detail for that product, you would click onto the row, and that would change the detail area down here so that you could drill down, find more information. And then if you needed even more information, we had come up with a way for you to choose these sections where you could drill down into miscellaneous, presented by, resources. You could even provide feedback on the products. And so we managed to fit a huge amount of information into this little bit of space. If you wanted to select an item, you would double click on the item. It would add it into your little cart collection over here on the right. If you wanted to add multiple items, you would check multiple items and then click add items. It would add those items to your cart collection. And then from here you could either save a collection, you could go right into proposal from here and create a proposal without saving the collection itself, but just loading those products right into the proposal. Or if you wanted to, you could work with existing collections and click the All Collections and see all of your different collections that were available, open them, get information on them, whatever you wanted to do. Again, all in a very compact space. Well, that's now changed with the new search. When you go to the new search page, it's going to be significantly different. It's going to fill your screen for sure. A couple of things you're going to notice right away is there's a video. It's like, why is there a video in my search page? This is only on the search launch page. The reason it's here is for as people start to get used to the new search, it does provide some quick and easy information about using the search. This first video that shows up here is a quick little 2-minute, this is how the old search looked, this is how the new search looked type video. 2 minutes, you're sitting in this presentation, so hopefully I'm giving you a lot of that information, but it's a good primer, good way for you to remind yourself on how to use the new search. Over on the left are links that will change this video. So there's something called favorites and there's something called saved searches, which I'll discuss in a little bit. And we're going to be adding links over here so that there's very quick access to help on how to use the search. But it really isn't that difficult, it's just different. And so what we want to do is give you a brief introduction to the search, show you where things were before and where they are now. So if we switch back to the old search, you can see again our criteria was all the way over here on the left, all grouped together. If you wanted to see detailed criteria or extended criteria, you click on these sliders and make your choices. Most of the criteria you worked with was right up here on the first tab. Here, your criteria, where you're entering in the criteria for your search, is in this text box here. And so if I come in here and I type in blue here and I hit my enter key, it will do a search for blue. And this is just sort of the initial basic way to search if you're just using a keyword to search. Now, what about all that other criteria? Well, all that other criteria that you were seeing over here on the left is now available underneath of this plus sign in your criteria panel. And when you click that plus sign, you're going to see all of the information that you had available plus more in the old search. Here's the text box where you typed. Here's where you would type in your price range from and to. Here's where you can choose your price type. If you're a rep or a supplier, you're going to see more than this. You'll see different levels of pricing, but as a reseller, you'll just see authorized pricing. You have this section up here called Save Searches, which I'll talk to you about in a little bit. Before, you're able to select brands, and that is still available. So you have a list of all of your brands, and if you want to add a specific brand that you want to search, then you would click the plus sign next to the brand and move it over. When you performed your search, after you've done your search like I have here, and we'll just close this for a minute, your results come up in a number of different views. This is called block view, which is what I'm currently in, and it happens to be my favorite view that we have. But in addition to block view, you have list view. And list view will show you a little bit more information than block view. It takes up the width of your screen. You also have picture view, where if you're really interested in just looking at the pictures, you can have the pictures. And then you have something that's going to look a little familiar called grid view. And with grid view, you can select an item. It's going to show you that list that's similar to this list up here in the old RepLink. And then when you click it, it's going to show you the details directly to the right, and it's going to break down pricing and all the other information that you have. But the other views still have all those details available to you. All you need to do is either click the picture or click onto the name of the product, and it will open up for you a details page. And on the details page, you're going to find the details section, and here's all your pricing, sizes and freight, miscellaneous, features, ship quick. You also have the images that you can pull, resources for the product, and again, you can leave feedback. All of this is reminiscent of what you had here, except blown out, made much bigger, easier to view, and access. And then if you want to go back to your search, you just click onto the back to search results, and then click back to search results. It will take you back to your search where you were and allow you to continue on. Now, a neat thing about the search in terms of choosing details is, in addition to being able to change the views, you can change how you want the details to appear. If you want the details to appear in a new page, you can choose Details in New Page, and now when I click onto an image, it's going to open up a whole different tab. And the nice part about this is that tab can stay open while I go and look at other products. And so now, once I have these products that I've selected, I can switch between these tabs and compare the items if I want. Otherwise, you can keep it in the same browser if you don't want to get involved with tabs, and just leave it Details in the same page, and it will just jump you to the Details page, and then you click the back button, and that allows you to go back to your search results. Also available if you want, here if I'm in my block view, I've got set to 10 items, but if you want to see more items, you can change the items per page. So I can change this to 100 items per page that get returned. And then when my results come back, now I can see much more at one time. In each block, I have all the most important information about the details. I know whether or not there's a high-res image or other resources available for the product. I know whether it's active or not. I know whether it's in ShipQuick or not. I can also choose to sort my results if I want, so I have my different choices of sorting, and I also have my sort direction, so if I want to change my price sort from ascending to descending, I can choose my sort, my price level that I want to search by, and then change the sort if I want to look in the other direction. So I've got quite a powerful search, all the results. Once I have my results back, I can look at this filter that's over here on the left, and the filter is going to give me information about my current search results. It's going to tell me what suppliers are involved. It's going to tell me what categories are there. It's going to tell me, give me a pricing quadrants, 4 different ones to tell me, where the different products line up. If I want, I can use the check boxes next to these to select just appliances, for example. So if I click that checkbox and click Apply Filter, only items that were in appliances would show up. You'll notice that some items have these plus signs next to them. The plus signs in categories, for example, if I click it, it's going to show me my subcategories underneath of that category or grandchild. And then I can even go deeper to great-grandchild. These are my ShipQuick categories which we're now making the change that no longer we're using just the restrictive 47 categories that we had before, but we're going to be having suppliers mark their products with our extended categories. Under suppliers, the plus mark will expand to allow you to see specifically what brands contain products in your search results. And so this filter is very handy. It's a little bit more easier to use and powerful, but we did have it. We had this filter button in the old search. A lot of people didn't know about it, but this one is a little bit more upfront. And this also tells you how many items total was returned as you're looking at it. And then you have your pager here to navigate, and that's pretty much the search. If we go and we take a look at the criteria a little bit more for the search, important thing to note is this section down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Before, if you remember, as I pointed out, you had the ability to pick brands, and the brands were sorted by brand name. Well, now we have brands available for you to select, so this lists all of your brands, and it's much easier to scroll between them, and you can click the plus sign next to a brand, and it will add that to your selected list. So if I only wanted to look at Apple products, and in parentheses it indicates what supplier it's from, it would be added over here to my my selected list, and then if I click the search again, it would then limit my results to just those items within that brand. But one of the problems a lot of people reported using the old search was, well, how do I find everything from a particular supplier? Well, we now have suppliers available here. And so with suppliers, and I have a very limited test group of suppliers here, but if I choose suppliers, it's going to allow me to add an entire supplier over to my selected list. So if I want things from a single supplier, I can just click the plus sign and it would add the item over here to my selected list. But I could also just click the supplier itself, and then that's going to list for me all the brands that are provided by that supplier. And so you can see that list, and then you can just pick from a distinct list of brands from that specific supplier, as opposed to having to hunt through the brands list. And as I also mentioned to you before, the categories, are now using our extended categories, so you can add all appliances if you want to your main search, or if you wanted to, you could click appliances, and then it will drill down to major or small appliances, and then if you click major appliances, it will drill down even further into all the possible major appliances that are there. And again, as you add all these things to selected, they become part of your criteria group. In addition to the criteria that you can see by default, you have this little arrow here to the right that if you extend it, it's going to show you a whole bunch of other criteria options, including some new ones that we added, including what supplier country, in case you happen to be working with RepLink Canada. Also new within, so you can search items that have been added, and then you also have updated within, or items that have been updated within a certain time frame. And so if you want to do a search that way, that's possible as well. So a very, very powerful new search criteria panel that's available. Once you have your products, if you remember, it was real easy here. We just double-clicked on an item and it added it to our collection. So how are we going to do that here in the new search? Well, it's even easier in the new search because as you go through and you browse, you'll see that there's a plus sign for every product. Again, regardless of the view, it's consistent. So if I switch into list view, there's my plus sign there. And if I switch into picture view, there's my plus sign there once I hover over it. So you'll always see a plus sign next to a product. And if I click the plus sign, it's going to add an item to my collection. Now, if you look up here, you'll see this number 3 here. That indicates that I actually have 3 items in this current collection that's not named. And that's just like as if you were working with a collection here and the current collection none, you haven't been working with it. But I want to reset this collection, so anytime you want to reset the group that you're working with, you just click the reset button. And so now it's back to 0, it's back to none. So now if I click on the plus sign on a product, a couple things happen. One, my active collection increments by 1. My little save icon here, which is very important because you need to click save at regular intervals to make sure your selections that you're making are saved. Otherwise, it doesn't save it with your collection. In this case, this isn't a saved collection yet. So if we click save, it would ask us for the name, which we'll see. And also, you'll notice that once an item is selected, it then gets this orangish color border around it so that you know that that's a selected item. If I select this item, notice it gets an orange border around it as well. And so there I have my items. If I click on my number 3 here, or whatever the number is for the items in my collection, there are the 3 items in my collection. If I want to go and I want to look at the details of the item, I can click onto the link for the particular product. If I want to remove it while I'm looking at it right here, I've changed my mind, I can click the minus sign. Also, if I want to see the statistics of my current collection of the items I've selected, it's kind of like the filter over here, but my statistics here, this is going to tell me of all the items I've selected, this is how they break down. Here are the suppliers you selected from, here are the categories you picked, here are the prices in which your products fall. And then finally, if I just want to see the items that I've selected, I can click Show Selected Products, and so now it just shows me essentially this list except in search results view. So now I'm looking at all of my items. If I go up and I do a new search, maybe I do red instead of blue here, when my new items come up, they'll be the results of my search as opposed to the items in my collection. But those items that I had in my collection are still here. This is just like in the old search. Remember in the old search, when you wanted to reset your criteria, anything that you saved here over on the right-hand side in your collection box stays put. It's just your results clear out, okay? So, or your criteria clears out. And then if we wanted to clear out the items, all the items in the results, we could just do another search if we wanted to. So we can go through and just using the plus sign add one item at a time. If you want to add a bunch of items at a time, that's what this great big plus sign up here is for. If I click the big plus sign, I get a couple of choices. I can either add all search results from the current page that I'm on, or I can add all the search results from all the pages. So here I would have, if I chose this first option, I'd only be adding 100 items. If I chose the second option, I'd be adding all the items on all pages of my search results, and they would get added to my collection. So to minimize this, let's say I switch this to 10 items per page of a result, and you'll see that when the results come back, I've got my pager, I've got many more pages, obviously. Now when I click the plus sign, if I add everything from this page, I add products, notice this increments to 13 because I just added 10, and it pops up just to show me, okay, here you go, here's everything that you have. Now up until this point, I've been working with an unsaved collection. If I want to save it, I can either just save collection as, or when I click my save button here, it's going to pop up with a name if it's the first time that I've saved it. So we'll just call this 10 a.m. March 5 demo, and then we'll click save, and now that item, or now that collection has been saved. If I want to take a look at what's in there, there are my items. Now what if I wanted to open up an existing collection that I had? Maybe I really like the collection I created for the webinars last week. Well, I could click onto this folder icon, and this folder icon is where you're going to be able, this is essentially the same as back here when you did all collections, and it showed you your different collections, except it's even more powerful because not only can you open up collections, but you can also open up proposals, RFPs, and programs and the products that you submitted to those, and edit the collection of products that you've submitted to those. In order to filter out, because your lists are very long in the number of proposals that you have, we have a way here for you to limit, just let me see the proposals or the collections or whatever that I have within the last 7 days. You can do the last month. Notice because I have the last month, there's my demo from last week that I did at 3 p.m. That now shows up. If I wanted to sort by keyword and across a longer span of time, I could type in a keyword if I knew what the collection was, and my results would be filtered by that very sort of basic criteria selection there. When I'm working on saved collections, if for some reason I just, I want a new collection, I can go ahead and just click New right here. Now, this doesn't work for proposals or RFPs, but when you're on saved collections, you will be able to click a New button, which is really the same as clicking the Reset button back on the current collection count over here. Now, when you're looking at the proposals or collections or your different product groups, the different buttons that are available here, you can get information on the product group. So if I want to see what's in that, or here we'll work with this 3 p.m. demo from last week, I can click the I. If I wanted to delete it, I knew I didn't need that anymore and I happen to see it, I could just click X to delete. If I want to open it and replace this current collection, I could do that if I wanted to. So let's say I click the Open button. Now this is showing me the products that are in my 3 p.m. collection, but maybe I actually wanted to still stay in my 10 a.m. collection, but I wanted to get the products that I had from my 3 p.m. collection earlier and add those. I can just click the Add button here and watch this number, 13. Notice I have 7 here. I click the plus sign. Without opening it, it automatically adds the 7 additional items to the collection that I'm currently working on. And so now I have 20 items in this collection. Now I do have to save it if I want to keep that, so I'll just go ahead and click Save to save those changes, and now I can continue searching and working with that collection. When I'm ready to do a proposal, if I want to start a proposal right away, I just click Create Quick Proposal. Create Quick Proposal is going to take me, just like it does now, to the end of my proposal so that I can fill in my information. If you look and you go backtrack and you hit onto the pricing, you can see all those products that I selected in the search appear the same way as they did before when I was working with my old search. And so your proposal process hasn't changed at all. As a matter of fact, if I go in and I want to do a new proposal, and let's say I want to create a new proposal instead of working with the existing one, and I'll call this, my 10 a.m. prop demo. When I click Begin, it's going to have me select a customer. Remember, this is the stuff that the quick proposal allows you to avoid. When I get to product, it says, well, how do you want to get product? Well, I want to search to get my products. Well, if you choose search to get your products, then it takes you back to the search screen just like it did before. The difference being you now have this Add to Proposal button, so that if I go in and I do my search and I find items specifically, instead of saving the items in my collection, I'm just going to click Add to Proposal. So let's go ahead and let's find a product. I'm all about colors today, I guess, for criteria. We'll find a couple of products, so we'll click the plus signs here, and we'll add these 3. They're in this current collection that I want to add this collection to my proposal, so I click Add to Proposal. I don't need to worry about saving the collection. It just takes those products back. So if you want to start a new proposal like you used to, just using New Proposal instead of using the Quick Proposal functionality and starting from search, you can still do that. You just now have a button that when you takes you to search, you get back into the proposal process using that special button just for working with proposals. So again, just like you were using the old search, now if I want to, I'm here, I want to open up my collection that I was working on. I'll open that up. So now I have this collection open that I'm using. From here, as I said, I could create a quick proposal. I can create a program from this. If I make changes, this update collection is really just like this. Let my save button. If I want to save the collection as another collection because I'm going to add to it, but I want to leave the existing collection, I can do save collection. And then don't forget that you can show products. And when you show products, that's going to then display all the products in your collection with pictures so that you can review. And then once you're here, if you wanted to remove it from the collection, you just click the minus sign, it removes it. And again, don't forget, you're always wanting to save your changes. You don't have to save every time, but just know that if your connection gets lost and you get disconnected, you only have it back to when you saved last. And again, if you want to open your collections, we have open in here. So you have this panel, your product groups panel, where you can open up the different types of things here. You have your active product group, whether it's a collection or a proposal, whatever, has all your products in it. And then you have your criteria panel over here on the left where you can make certain choices. So lots of different ways, little different ways of doing things, different look mostly, much more information available to you, but we don't think it'll be too hard for you to get used to using the new format. It's just different. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So hopefully you like that. Hopefully you're getting excited. There's a couple of new search features I do want to highlight that do not have comparable features in the current or the old search. And the first one is saved favorites. And favorites, if you notice, as I've been sort of bopping around here, you'll have a little star to the left of the name of all the products. Again, regardless of what view you happen to be in, there's my stars there. If I click onto a star, that's going to indicate that that item is a favorite of mine. If that item is a favorite of mine, then I can pull that up along with my other favorites at any time by clicking on this little star that's to the right of your search text box. When I click that, my favorites will display. Again, my favorites can display in whatever views I want them to display in. And you'll know that they're your favorites because they're all yellow, right? They're all showing up in yellow. Now notice I have an active product group. I have my active collection here open. Even though this is my favorites, it's telling me if any of my favorites are currently in the active collection by showing that I have this orange border around the products. Now if I want to remove something while I'm looking at it, I can. But usually I'm going to favorites because I remember, oh, that watch. I always like to add that watch to my collection. So I pull up my favorites so I don't have to do any special searches. I know it's in my favorites. There's the watch I like. I click on the plus sign. It's now added into my collection. I can now go about doing my other searches if I want. It's a very simple grouping of products. It's just your favorites that you've grouped together. We don't, you can have as many as you want, but the more you have, the more it becomes sort of a search. Obviously, if you change your items per page to 100 or 50, it'll be easy to manage a larger number of favorites. But the idea is these are the products that you like to propose almost always or on a regular basis, and you want quick access to them instead of having to pull up put in some criteria in order to pull up the item. So that's favorites. The other thing we have is save searches. Now, save searches it takes a little bit of getting used to and understanding. And with save searches, if I click my plus sign in my criteria panel, this area at the very top is your saved searches. And the easiest way to think about a saved search is that a saved search is saving the question that you have for RepLink as opposed to the answer. The answer is you saving the specific items in your collections and adding them, and then you're adding very specific products. Those products never change. Those are the products that you've grouped together into that static collection. Now, the collection, you can change the collection manually yourself, but regardless of the state of products in the database, those collections, even if they're discontinued or backordered, they stay in that collection, and then your search results will indicate whether items are discontinued or backordered, but they'll still stay there available for you to use. Now, with Save Search, you're saving the question, So if I wanted to set all of my criteria up, and maybe I'm always looking for electronics, so let's say that I want to type in electronics here, and I'm looking for electronics very often between $500 and $750, and I know it's electronics that I want, so I'm going to go to categories, and I'm going to add electronics. And now I'm going to do my search, just so I can see that I've got products coming up. You don't have to do it, but here are electronics in that price range that come up in my search. I know I do this search often. I don't want to every time having to go in and type in electronics, 500 to 750, choose the price type, add the category. So I'm going to type in here the name of my question, electronics, or the name of my saved search, electronics 500 to 750, and I'm going to click Save. Now that I've clicked Save, it is available in this drop-down box here. Notice I had one electronics 100 to 1,000 before. If I choose electronics 100 to 1,000, I click Open. Notice it changes all my criteria. If I want, I have a default search, and if I open that, that's going to be my default search. I'm almost always searching between 50 and 100. A default search is nice is because that's the default settings of your search when you first go to search, as if it's brand new. So I just go into search results, my search page comes up, I come to the search landing page with my video, and then when I type in a keyword here like TV and I hit enter, I know that not only is it searching across all items for TV, or it is in this default case, but it's only searching ones between $50 and $1,000, or searching the keyword TV within. Now, if I wanted to make my electronics, I'm almost always searching electronics because that's my biggest business. I could make my default search electronics 100 to 50 simply by selecting that save search and clicking this checkbox, and that makes it the default. So now, when I go to my search page, fresh, and I type in TV, my results are going to be different than before because now it's electronics as opposed to just a general search that will return. If I want to go in and I want to set all my settings here from whatever my default is, and I know it's going to be my default, when you save it, if you check the my default or make default checkbox when you click save, that will automatically put the parentheses default. It doesn't have to be called default. It's probably nice. You could call it Georgia, could you call it whatever you wanted to, as long as you check make default, or if it already exists, if you click this make default button. If you change your criteria, you add some criteria to it. When you have your save search open, you click this update button, and it will save the changes to your criteria into that save search. If you want to delete the save search, I don't really need one that's 100 to 1,000. I can click X, and it will delete that. And now I do need a default. I don't need one, but I would like a default. I'm going to make that my default. So I'm going to make that my default search and have that available. So save searches, remember, it takes a little getting used to, but you're saving the question. I think a lot of people are going to find this very useful, and you're going to have a long drop-down list of different regular searches that you do that you save as a saved search so that you don't have to keep typing in the criteria over and over again in choices. We did a lot of the sort of the defaults, sort of the one-choice defaults and preferences in the old search, but now because you can use the saved searches, you can have a whole list of different preference groups or saved searches, however you want to think of them. One last thing I want to show you is that when you're searching, you can search active and backordered items, or discontinued items and backordered, or all items. When you do, I just want to give you a heads up that let's just search discontinued items. When your search comes back, the header is going to be sort of this reddish color, and so is it's going to say discontinued. It's going to match this color for your results. And then this matters most when you're actually looking and you're doing a search for all items or active and backordered, for example. You can tell which ones are active, which ones are backordered. Here, perfect example, this item is backordered, and you can tell right away visually because the header color is different, and then the active info block here, which indicates its status, matches that. But that's a quick little heads up that that's when you see the change in the header, that's what's going on there. So that's the new search. We're going to show you now how to activate the new search. If you want to activate the new search and you want to start using it, what you want to do is you want to go into your menu and you want to go to Maintenance and you want to choose Preferences. Under Preferences, you're going to see Preference Groups and you want to choose Search Criteria. And in Search Criteria, you'll see a preference named Search Version. Yours is going to be set to RepLink System 7. You want to set it to RepLink System 8. You want to click Apply. Once you click Apply, you're then going to, I'm not going to do it, but you're going to want to log out and then log back in. And at that point, once you've logged out and logged back in, you will now be getting the new search instead of the old search. If you want a transition period where you're switching back and forth, in order to switch back to the RepLink 7, you go and simply reverse the procedure, go back into Maintenance Preferences, change it to RepLink System 7, apply, log out, log back in. And if you're not quite comfortable yet, but you need to get something done, you can then switch back to the old search until you've gotten more comfortable with the new search. All right, so now we're going to, I'm going to go and look for all those hands that must have been getting raised while I was doing the demo and take a look at any questions that might be here and try to answer them. So let me see if we've got any hands raised. All right, and we got some questions. No hands raised, but we have some questions. So we have, where are the flags for backordered or closeout status in Access RepLink? Well, I think I just answered that, and it's probably asked for before I answer that, but if we go back to search, as I mentioned to you, when you're doing the when you're doing the search, if you go in and you do a search that is with active and backordered items, or you're just looking and a backordered item or discontinued item comes up, the change is going to be in your in the product header. You're going to see the color that's going to tell you that it's a discontinued item, and also the info block. So here you can see I have a discontinued item, or I have an active item, sorry, with A here, and the colors match, and then here are discontinued items, and then there's another color for backordered items that you can look at. Another question that we have is, I don't think the filter is working to select brands under supplier. I will check that. It's possible. I'll see if that's an issue, and if so, we'll get it fixed. We have just released it last week, and we're fielding. It's amazing once we've opened up the search under the hood how much is there and how many different ways people use the search. And so as we're releasing it to more and more people, and people are joining the webinar and start using it, we are finding it. We've gotten some great suggestions from our beta teams, from our beta users, and then even from the people last week, and we've already implemented some enhancements or changes since then. So we're getting a lot of feedback that we didn't see internally that we're seeing again once we released it a few weeks ago to our beta users, and then again last week, and then this week. So so anyway, we're looking forward to everyone getting their hands on it and using it. Let me see. Ben, did you have a question?
Yeah, I had a quick question. When you're doing a collection and you have items added to it and you click on Quick Proposal, you have those products in that collection. Why would you go ahead and do a new search once you have that collection, those products there?
Well, you don't need to. No, once you have your, if you just go right into search, you pick your products and then you do Quick Proposal, those products are saved with the proposal, and so there's no reason for you to save a collection. But a lot of people like to create collections and then use those collections to create proposals because they have regular sets of products that they use, or to, and actually to for sort of a historical thing way back in the desktop version of RepLink, you always had to create a search. You always had to create a collection first, and then you had to create a proposal and load that proposal with the items. But ever since long ago, you never need it. But the ability to save collections has always just been sort of saved there. So there's no need for you to do it twice. You just, if you go in search, find your products, do Quick Proposal, those products are saved with your proposal. No need to.
But if you're in the quick proposal and you have products in, you can filter products and add that to your current collection.
Well, you can if you're in a quick proposal, then you go back to the products tab of your proposal and click search products, and it will have in it your the products that are currently in the proposal and allow you to add or change them, and then return back to the proposal with your changes.
Perfect, I got that.
All right. All right. Thanks. Let's see. Give me a minute here. Joe, did you have a question? Joe Jelka?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, my question really is about the closeout flag in particular. I spent a lot of time going through and flagging items that I know are being phased out, and a lot of times the reps, when they're doing the proposals, don't see that. That's why I was asking really about, is there a way to make that a little more apparent like you do with back order?
Oh, I see, closeouts. I'm trying to remember in the
in the old version, you can do in the drop down, you can look at an item and see if it's in there, but it's not flagged anywhere.
Yeah, we can work with that, showing a status. I have Larry Sir lurking here, and so he'll take a note to take a look at making the closeouts indicator more prominent on the results, and then we'll make sure we'll let you know where it shows up after we make that change.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Great, thanks. Okay, so then we have a question here. I want to search for multiple specific model numbers, typically new models added to RepLink without going through the entire lineup. Is there something in place to do this type of search? Well, yes. If you want to search for specific models, if you just type in the model number here, so let's say I wanted to search for this model number here. Well, this is just going to, let's see, I'm just going to click on here, but let me get this model number and I'll go back to search. So if I typed in a model number here, then when it came back, if I had a specific hit for that, then the item with that should just return. That would just return that model number. Let's see. There we go. It was just I hit favorites, I think, instead of search. So now I did a search on that model number, and that's the only item number that came up. And then if I wanted to search anything specific that you know is particular to that model, you could type in a, I believe we're searching UPC codes as well. You can just type it into the text box, and that's going to filter out a bunch of products if it's a unique value. And so that's how you would do that. All right, let's see. We got any? Let's see. Bob, did that answer your question?
It did not.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm asking is new models added to RepLink will get a notification. New models or models discontinued, that's beside the point, but new models added to RepLink, I want to add specifically just those model numbers.
Sure. Yes.
If I search for just those model numbers, is there a separator or something in place?
Yeah, well, what you can do is, if you look here on the screen, in the criteria for the on the criteria panel, if you open up, you'll see that there's a new within, and you can see the period of days, and that will limit it to just those items that were created within 30, 60, 90, 6 months or a year, and you can also choose just items that were updated in certain times. Does that help?
Yeah, it helps, but there's nothing.
Sorry.
Whatever the number is, I want to just be specific to those.
Well, I mean, you limit it. I mean, you limit it to new items, and so if you choose this, it will only be new items within that period. And then if you had a specific model number or part of a model number, you could type in the keyword, and that combined with new within would only return items that are new that have that prefix to it.
Correct. But if I went into the search and I entered in 5 model numbers, nothing would come back. Is that correct?
You can't put just a list of 5 specific model numbers. No, you can't put like a group of model numbers and have those. You'd have to type each model number, search, bring it up, add it. Or if they had a prefix to them, you know, like a lot of times the model numbers that you're searching for are similar. If you typed in a part of it, that would at least limit models to only include things that started with the same prefix that all of the group that you're using do. But there's no way just to list a series of model numbers and have them all show up. No. And if you want to talk about it more, just email help@replink.com or shoot me an email at david@replink.com. And if you talk about an idea behind it, we can maybe look into adding it for you.
Sure.
All right, thanks, Bob. All right, let's see. I think that takes care of all of the raised hand questions. Does anybody else have any questions before we close? All right, I think that about does it then. I think we covered everything pretty well. I just want to thank everybody for attending. And if you need any help in switching the new search on, as I mentioned, it's under maintenance and preferences in the search criteria group. If you need any help, just contact help@replink.com. We hope you enjoy the new search. We look forward to having people give us some feedback on the new search. I really think that you're going to like it. If there's anything that we can do to make it better, you think we missed, let us know, and we will work on it. All right, everyone. Thanks very much, and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.